Hello and welcome to the F90 channel. My name is Chris and today we're looking at the 2018 Audi B9 S4. We're going to be exploring the interior and going in depth on the interior of the car. If you just stumbled upon this video, please check out our exterior video where we do an in-depth review of the outside of the car. It's hot. Whew. Starting at the driver's door, we have the top portion of the door made in soft leather, although it's not like this leather here. It's more of a fox type of leather. Moving on to the middle portion, we have this suede Alcantara material, which is very nice. Chrome piece trim, which if you press on it enough, you could hear that creaking. Metal doorknob, or metal handle actually. Carbon fiber trim, which is decorated within the car, but we have this nice sort of hockey stick shape here. And this portion here where we have gray stitching in between the dark leather just to give it that contrast and that nice look, which this leather is much better than this here. The bottom portion here is the same type of kind of, it's like as if they used more of a thicker fox leather here than they did on the bottom portion, I guess, since you're going to be touching this more often than more of this. But sample bottle not included. You have speaker and the Bang & Olufsen speaker here. Moving on to the controls of the door, we have our unlock and our lock button. We have our set button and 1 and 2 memory seats. So if you have 2 drivers, one is a primary, you can set your seat the way you like it, press set, and that's set then for number 1. Or you could have the second passenger set the way they want it, press set, hold number 2, and that's now in the memory, and that's just to set the memory for the seats. Moving on to the lower portion of the door, we have the mirror controls where this 0 is kind of like a neutral position. However, if you do have the car set into a specific mode where, let's say, you lock the car and the mirrors turn in, you just leave it in this, and this is kind of like the neutral setting for the mirrors. If you want to control the mirrors and set them yourself, you have the left and also the right where you can adjust the mirrors as you like. You have, if you flick it into this position here, which I will show you hopefully all at once. So let's say we put it, the door mirrors then close in and back, and they go back. And the last one here is the heated mirrors. So let's say it's snowing wherever you are and you do have snow, or actually I've even done it with fog, or let's say there's something on the mirrors that you can get off. Turn on the heated mirrors and it'll come right off. Then we also have our one touch up and down for actually all windows, which is really nice. A nice little chrome on here. It feels really premium. Everything here is nice to the touch. And then we also have our lock where no one can open the window, only you, if you want to be that person. Stepping in, we have this side still here with the red S4 symbol. Next up are the seats of the car, which are made in this nice soft leather material, which after basically about 3 years of use, I haven't had a tear or anything. Actually, when you touch it, you think it's so soft that you might tear it on accident with your key or whatever you may be moving around, but that hasn't been the case, so it is extremely tough as well. This nice quilted diamond pattern, again with that gray deviated stitching. Audi S4 symbol. And All of these seats do look amazing. If you're a person who likes to adjust the headrest, this is one single unit. You can't move this up or down, it just is what it is. Just to get a better look, you have the solid piece, you have this nice plastic, albeit plastic, trim on the inside here, but those look really nice. Moving down, you do have the embossed sort of, or stitched in. Nope, that is embossed in there. The S Audi square, and then the S symbol here. Moving on with the diamond stitching out to here. And kind of reviewing more of the seat, we have leg extensions where there is a little lever there you just press up and then out, and you could adjust it to where you want it to be. So if you're trying to go on long road trips, you want to extend your legs, you just extend this out and it gives you more of a thigh support. Here's where the majority of your seat controls are. What you have is forward, backward. You could also tilt down or tilt up, so that portion goes up. You could also move the entire seat down or the entire seat up. Go back down. You have the backrest, which the back portion of the seat, which tilts back, forward, tilts forward. It's really about it for this knob, to be honest. This one's interesting and actually much better when I show it on the screen in the car than showing it here, but I'll try my best. So you have this wheel, which when you turn up or down, it works on selecting where in the menu you want to select. Basically this wheel here, moving it up or down, you can select options in the menu that work on the bolsters as well as the massage seats. Alternatively, you also have this button which you could just reach down and press and it'll just start the massage on whatever preset massage you have set up. So while I twist that knob up or down, you see here you have that symbol, that kind of out here with the little thing sticking out of it. If I go down, it just scrolls through everything, or if I go up, it just scrolls through everything as well, depending which way you go. So you have three sets here. You have the massage, you have the bolsters here on the side with the graphics, will show you what it is, and also the bottom back support. And on the inside of the actual knob itself, you have these arrows. So I press up or down, it adjusts where the support goes, and then in or out, adjusting to your back, or adjusting to however you like it. Then we also have the bolsters, which have just in or out. So either you want them squeezed really, really, really tightly. Let's say you're taking some corners, you want to take them really tight, or if you want to relax and just fit your frame, you could make them a bit looser. For the massage, we have off, wave, stretch, and need. Off is obviously off. If we go to need, best way to describe it is as if it's, kneading, as if someone is, gnawing into your back a little bit. Although I do have to say these massage seats, although they are great for long journeys, they're not a massage chair. They're not as aggressive. So you can see here I have the intensity on 3. So if I had it on 1, I think I barely would feel it. And even on 3, you also barely feel it, but it's a little bit more. But it's just enough to let you know that it's there and it's doing its job. It's trying its best. Moving on to stretch, it does feel like there's 2 sort of mechanical hands stretching out your back, which is nice. And then wave just kind of moves from the bottom up, which is really, really good. So you have your presets there. I honestly think it's enough having the 3 presets. If you just want something, it's going to keep the blood flowing while you're driving the car, these presets are ample enough, and I don't think you would need anything else. The driver's seat also has heated seats, 3 stages. You press it as 2, 1. I usually leave it on 3, sometimes 2. It can get quite hot, but then once it reaches the temperature, it just backs off. So that's pretty good. This should be a preset for the ventilated seats, which I do not have on this car. The passenger door basically has almost the same thing, minus all the controls. It just has the window up and down switch, and just the lock and unlock. The passenger seat also has leg extension, the bolster, the support, all the massage, everything that the driver's seat does, besides having those extra controls of having the presets in there. So starting off here, we have this nice carbon fiber trim which goes across the car here, which is really nice. It's one big piece. We have those fog lights which I showed off on the exterior video, which just give a wider viewing angle. So if you're looking out this way, you have the left and the right side illuminated, and it's much wider, so you're able to see better at night. You have everything off. Automatic, which really it adjusts if you're driving during the day. It's just the daytime running lights are on. If you go through a tunnel, it'll turn on the lights. If you're driving at night, or if you need high beams, everything is automatically done. Here's the lights just on. Your high beams yourself. Your high beams you can turn on yourself. This you have, which controls the brightness of the screen. It's either up or down. You have your AC controls. Off, on, up or down, pretty standard. This trim piece again, although this is nicely put in, unlike you have this leather, which I really honestly have no idea, because this does feel like the leather now. It might have just been put on in a weird, maybe there's a hard portion underneath this, but this feels nice. This is really soft. It's not as soft as this leather here, but it's still really nice. And then again, you're not gonna be really touching this. Bang & Olufsen speakers here. Moving across, we also have another one in the middle here, and Bang & Olufsen over there as well. Center console, we have our hazard lights. We also have our AC controls on, off, up and down. This one as well. And here, we also have this portion here, which you can see inside is open, which when we lose this control, we can open, and that just helps to recirculate the air within the cabin. You could open or close that. Focusing on this portion, you have your AC climate control. So you have nice blue and red indicators. So if you want to go all the way down to low, you have your AC all the way up to high, which we're definitely not going to do that today. It's way too hot. Sitting there, you also have, if you click it, auto. Turn that off. What's cool about this is if you put your finger on it, you see how it's highlighted? So it highlights other options within this separate menu on the screen. It also works underneath, which I don't know why you would. I guess if you did this and you're a fighter pilot, you could just, flick whatever you want. Just on here. Okay, all right. But in any case, so here, this is how you set up where the air goes, as well as your defroster, AC on, off, max. Your fan speed, the zones. You have 3-zone climate control: the driver, the passenger, and then the entire rear cabin. Those are your 3 zones. You could have it synced. So let's say, for example, I move this on the left side, the passenger side temperature also moves. If I put it for 3-zone, the passenger can put it to a higher or lower temperature, and it's independent of the driver. And then you can also set the rear temperature as well. And then you have a nice little indicator that says that you're setting the rear. Just put it on sync. And then also for the passenger, you have the recirculation of air, off button if you want to turn off the AC, and then also the heated seats for the passenger. Down here, we have our drive select mode, which I'll go into a little bit more, but basically you can select which type of character your car has. So up, you switch to the comfort, auto, dynamic, or individual. You can hear the engine changes as the revs. Let's put it back to comfort, and we'll go through that shortly. Auto start on off. This is off during individual or dynamic mode. In comfort mode, it's on, and when it meets certain parameters, like the vehicle is warmed up enough, it will shut down just to save on fuel, and then once you release the brake, it will turn the engine back on. Up next is our traction control, which is actually 2 sets. If I press it once, we get stability control ESC Sport, which is a sport handling, which will let you slip out the car just a little bit. However, if I hold the button down for about 3 seconds, I have stability control off, which you can then hoon around in the snow or in the rain as much as you like. A blank, the parking sensor, which you could turn on or off, and sometimes it do get really loud and annoying, and it will just pick up everything under the sun. You can have an entire truck going in front of you and there's nothing there, and then you have the smallest molecule known to Earth come up, and then it will detect that instead of something, you know, useful. But you could turn that on or off. So I have that on just for peace of mind. And you also have this button if you're driving at night and you kind of don't want the screen to be on, you just turn off and it's black. This will always stay on, the screen will always stay on, but this one is off. Moving on through the center console, we have our engine start stop, which has this nice red ring around it. We have this little storage space here, 12 volt, nice little cap, 12 volt that you can plug into. Cup holders, which are illuminated as well, which is really nice. Put the water bottle on the other side, which is fine. Moving down here, we have all these numbers. Now, what are all these numbers? So these are actually your radio presets. So if I want a radio preset, let's say 4, we have that. The other cool thing is, while I'm doing a touch, as if I could do this at the same time, while I'm, let's say, touching this, all I need to do is touch this and it'll show you which radio station I have preset, and then you could click that. So if I want Z100, I press here. If I want 103.5, I press 3 here. So it is touch sensitive, so really nice. You have your navigation and map here. So just like most Audis, you have that 4-quadrant system. So if you want navigation map, you just click up here. If you want the telephone, you click down. Your menu button always brings you back home, which we'll go through. Return or back, which you're going to use a lot. Your radio up, and also your media down. I think the idea is here that you would use it like this, where you have one finger here, one finger here. You can rotate, you have your thumb here and thumb here. What these do is they cycle through the different menus. So if let's say I'm in the map and I press left, it opens up the left side menu, which has traffic messages and destination input. If I press right, we have map settings, route criteria, all that, which we'll go through, and then return. So you can really just control everything by just kind of keeping your hand like this, which rests nicely on the gear selector. And then just has a nice satisfying click. Anyway, gear selector. Put it in park, you just press P for park. If you want to put it in reverse, you click here, move it up. This will be illuminated. You're in reverse now. If you want to go to neutral, just a little half click down. If you want to go to drive, you go all the way down, you're in drive. If you want manual mode, you just move it over to the right, and then you have plus or minus. Although this, I think, is reverse of what I like to see. Usually you want to do, or at least in my opinion, if you want to do a kind of like a rally car, you would pull back for going upshifting a gear. So 1, 2, 3, or 2, 3, 4, 5, and then going down a gear, you go 4, 3, 2. Instead of this being the reverse. Although I never really use this. Maybe if I'm making a turn, I'm in the manual mode and I can't reach the paddles because they're actually not steering. They're on the steering wheel. They're not on the column, which I'll talk about that as well. A little gripe. But you know, I could just hit it up, which is easy. But otherwise, I like it to be the other way around. Then we also have our S4, sorry, our S line symbol here. A blank. This I think they use for the S5 if you have a cabriolet, just to lower the roof. Then the electronic parking brake, down and then up. You have this is nice as the volume controls. If you want to quickly reach the volume controls, you have. One great thing about this car is the ergonomics. You can have volume here. You can change the volume here if you want, or here. This is nice because this is where your hand naturally falls. You can increase the volume or lower the volume. Press it to stop, to turn on or off, on, off. And then if you click right or left, you can skip tracks or move to the next radio station, depending which way you move it. You have then this little storage. I just put change in here because it's really just small and shallow, and I don't know what else you're really going to put in there. You have a nice carbon fiber trim all the way here as well. This is made out of this it's interesting material. I don't know how to describe this. It's not wood. It's almost like a textured plastic, as if someone took a brush once it was finished, or a resin, and just ran the brush across. And then you have leather here, which is also stitched, which is nice because when you're driving, you kind of have your knee here, and then you're hitting the leather and not this material. We also have our center console here, lifting it up, which is also that soft leather with that deviated stitching. It's kind of small. I have my Easy Pass and my sunglasses here. This is what you have. You have two USB ports as well as an auxiliary. Moving to the footwell, you have your plate where you rest your foot, gas, which is still mounted from the top down. Usually German cars, you have that kind of foot plate that's mounted to the base of the car, and you press it that way instead of this rally style. Brake, and then since it's automatic, you do not have a clutch pedal. There you go. And this is just to open the front hood. You open this here, we have it's actually more storage that you could put items in. On top we do have warning. We also have our mirror. No, actually no, there is illumination here on the top. Same thing for the passenger. You can open this and close the side there, and it does slide out, so you can adjust it how you like, which is really nice. What we have here is actually we have touch light control. So if you touch that, light comes on. You have to touch it really lightly, it's really sensitive. Turn those on or off. I believe these are just those are just additional lights there. This tells you if the passenger airbag is on or off, depending if a passenger, you don't want it turning on if you get into an accident. Blank here, you have, I believe these are just the microphones to pick up the navigation or Bluetooth. You have your speakers. This is the roof, so let me show you that. So you can also just slide this back. You have that there. You can press here and it will tilt up for you. Press it down, and if you go all the way back, it's also one touch. You can open the roof, and then just one touch forward. It's closed. One funny thing about this car is when you launch it, I don't know if this is because it's become looser over time, when you launch it, this actually moves out a couple inches. So I can always tell how hard I launch depending where this is. So I think the maximum I've ever had is here. You know, it's not gonna fly all the way back, but it's something to keep track of. You also have your lights, you can turn all the lights on. Press that button. Door lock. This button you press if you have a mechanical issue. Call I guess Audi help support line, and then they'll be able to send someone out to you. And regarding if it's a tire, if you run out of gas, you can do that. You also have your SOS button, which I'm so tempted to press because look at that.
Do it. Do it. Do it.
No, we're not gonna do it. We're not gonna do it. We're not gonna. Oh, come on! Not today, and hopefully not ever. And then you have your garage home link where you can set up 3 garages, 3 garage doors. Okay, so let's get to the steering wheel. So, nice leather wrapped steering wheel with the flat bottom design with the S symbol, Audi symbol here, horn. There's a lot to cover here in this car. What we have here is, if you could think of this screen as whatever's on the left-hand side, you use this. Whatever's on the right-hand side, you would use this portion of the screen. So right in the middle, left goes to that screen, right goes to that screen. So if I click here, I'm moving, as you can see, the left portion, and then right, moving the right portion. And then also the side menus, you could press the side menus. So these buttons, if you can see, they're almost the same symbols as these. Actually, they are the same symbols. So they're the same thing. They're the side menus within this screen that you have here. And then you can scroll up and down if you want to select something. So let's say I want to select music, go up and down. You could also click it as well. Return button, and then view. So you have 2 different views. You have this view where you have the tack in the middle, and then you also have the view where you have the tacks on the side, and then anything that you had on the left is now the prominent feature in the middle of the car. So let's say you wanted the radio, now that's in the middle. If you don't want that to be prominent, you want more of a sporty look and you want to focus on the revs, you press view again and you have the tack in the middle. Okay, now moving on to what's mounted on the steering wheel, we have the paddles, so plus and minus. These are a plastic material. They're hard plastic, but they have this little illumination light here for minus, then as well for plus. Some Audi models have a metal outline, just makes it feel more premium. But this is still good. They still feel good to press. The problem is I do prefer to have the paddles on the column itself here instead of on the steering wheel, because when you turn and you're, let's say, taking a turn, this is only from a stop, but if you're turning and just driving in manual mode, you need to kind of reach over in a way and press it instead of you know, just knowing where the paddle is the whole time, because it doesn't follow the steering wheel. Next we have right and then left indicator down, pull back for high beams. Actually, what I do is when I want to let someone go, I just flick it once, and then, you know, but if you want them on the full time, you just press them forward and back to cancel. You also have cruise control here. So as it says off, down for on. This is what you press it right here, and it sets the cruise control. Then you could increase your speed, so you have one click up, or you could do a long click up, and they'll go up every 5 mile/hour increments, as well as down. So let's say you're going 60, you want to go to 65, you can just do a press all the way up and it'll go to 65 instead of 1 mile/hour increments. And on this side we just have the wipers, as you can see, so pull towards you in order to put on the wiper washer fluid. You have the intensity here, so lower intensity, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 settings, and then higher intensity here. And then you have the wipers, so all the way down, it goes down once. And then you have the off position, auto, which I leave it in, so then whenever rain comes down, the wipers come on automatically, low, and then high all the way up. Adjustability for a steering wheel might be hard to see, but there is a little lever here that you press down, and then you can move the steering wheel forwards, backwards, up, down, and then when you select the position, just pull this back up. So on the right hand side you have Navi, which controls the volume, answering phone calls. You could press this and it turns on the assistant in the car, which you can say call this person or set navigation to whatever destination you want it to go to. This button is a preset. I preset it actually to back out of this. Preset it to my drive select, so I don't need to reach down here to select the drive modes. I could just press this. This is programmable. If you hold it down, you could set up to I believe it's 6 different settings. Let's see if I hold it down. I think it's actually in the menu itself. You can go and set it up, and there's about maybe 5 or a little more than that of presets that you could do and set this to, just so it's easier. Your volume up and down, and again, tracks left and right, and then click. So again, this kind of echoes the same sort of feel that you have here. You just have it on the steering wheel, so you technically never have to leave take your hands off the steering wheel and do anything here. It's just sometimes this feels nicer to change the volume here than it is here. Usually when I'm driving, I'll change it here, but if I'm stopped somewhere, I'll change it here. It's just kind of these little nuances that you get. Oh, here we go, the steering wheel button. So you could change the Audi drive select mode, voice guidance on and off, day and night map, show high traffic, or switch to radio media. And that's all on this one. So you just select what you want. So I want the drive select mode, so you just press that, and then that gives you a nice little graphic of that's where the button is. Thank you, Audi, because I had no idea where it was. But anyway, so going through the menus, let's focus on the left. This menu right here, we have the Audi symbol. This is going to be your vehicle menu. So here we have the date and time. If I scroll down, I have the short-term memory, so my MPGs, which don't look at the MPGs, don't look at that. Don't look at the speed either. It doesn't make any sense. But the time, the miles, the long-term memory, how long I've driven for. Wow, that's a lot of hours. It's a lot of miles. Energy consumption, so if I'm using AC, which I have it on now because it is hot, it is, what is it? It's not 68 degrees outside. It doesn't make any sense. It's crazy hot in here. I'm out in the sun. But energy consumption. So if I turn that off, you can see that dissipates. So the more stuff you turn on, and you can see it building there as I turn the AC on. So it'll just show you what you're consuming. And if you want to be more efficient, you can just turn those items off. Driver assistance. I don't really have the driver assistance driver assistance package where it will change lanes for me or anything like that, but it will pre-safe brake. So if I'm driving too close to someone, they brake, or pre-sense warning, should I say, where if I'm driving too close to someone and I'm not gonna brake, it'll warn me first and then it'll brake for me. Or if I'm backing out into a street, and it'll stomp on the brakes to stop me from having an accident, so that's nice. And then traffic signals, or traffic signs, should I say, which usually I actually have never seen or ever used this. I have no sign information there. What I think this may be is just the speed limit, but that usually shows up on navigation anyway, so I'm not really exactly sure, but in any case. Also, I think what would be better to go over first is, so here you have your engine temperature, cold and hot. Right here is the middle, so that's usually where it stays at, and then it just gives you the actual readout, so we're at 192 Fahrenheit. I have changed my tires, and this is the great thing about having a German car is you have to go to the dealership and have them cancel for you unless I figure out some other way, but because this is a lease, I really don't want to mess with anything. No, always wear your seatbelt, folks, but not when you're parked. Temperature, you have your boost gauge here, which there's no numbers, it just kind of gives you a number here, which is nice for launch control because it looks like it builds boost, but I actually have no idea. I need to do more tests to see if I hold it longer, if it actually builds boost, or it's just something nice to look at. But in any case, when you're driving, it does show you how much boost you're building, and it does work in that fashion. Your fuel gauge, empty to full. And then also you have here, you could have a bunch of warning. This is where your warning lights are on, and if you're parked, so just additional lights there. So moving on to the next menu, what do we have? We have, since I do have, if there's a warning message and what I have is low tire pressure, it'll tell you loss of pressure, please check all tires and store pressures at MMI. That's Audi stuff. You have your radio controls, which go up and down, select radio, whichever station. You also have your presets here, and that's what I do with the wheel here. You also have your phone here, and then you have the navigation, which is really cool because you can just kind of scroll in or scroll out. You know, this makes a lot of sense now. So there we are. And then we have our tack here. The S4 symbol, the revs. When you start the car, you have this, the red line's actually somewhere around here, around 5,000, and only when it warms up is it drop down to that 6,500. You have your gear, auto start stop is disabled now, and then comfort. So that's the menus on that side. If we go to this side, we just have our range, our phone connectivity, our consumption. Yeah, and the right hand side we just control, let's say, volume here. So then if we switch to the other viewpoint and we start up here, we see that we have much more information on the car. We have a little, Audi here. And it just shows you more in-depth information because now that is the most prevalent information instead of just the tach and then also the speedometer. So the speedometer you can see there, it'll show you that miles per hour, but you don't really have the individual indices for the miles per hour there. And then you have these little buttons here. So let's say I click left. I have trip computer. So if I went to trip computer, this is what the trip computer is, lap times. I can start a lap time. I have to drive off, but no track, unfortunately. Lap statistics. No lap times have been recorded yet. You could also go to layout. Layout, what happens is you have a sport layout, you have a classic layout. So if I click classic layout, it says it takes a couple seconds. Let's say I click yes, it's changing the layout. So if I want a classic layout, you have your tach on your left and you have miles per hour on the right, and then you would have the navigation and everything else would be in the middle. So it just depends what you like. I do like having the tach in the middle. You have all the information there, you have the miles per hour, and then you're focusing on the revs anyway. So that's the button there. And then let's go back to view. And if I press right, which would be that button, there's an additional display, so you can kind of change what you want here. So you have your consumption, average speed, driving time, distance, date. There's a lot of stuff in this that you can change the way you want to. So if we go to this menu here, it shows you that the tires are affected. Although there's no tire pressure, it doesn't tell you what tire pressure, unfortunately. Radio, so again, you go left, and then you have the presets. You go to the media, to presets, Sirius XM, FM, AM. And if I press the button here on the right, what we get is the now playing screen option. We go to the next menu, we have the phone call, so we can have a call list, our favorites, or our directory. Click that back, and if I click the right one, what we have is, actually there's no right one. And then there's also the navigation. So if I click left, we have the map plus destinations, kind of echoes what we had there on the screen that I showed previously. And if I click right, we have, you know, map colors. So if you want the day, night, or if you want it to be automatic, like just a day. The display, you want standard or Google Earth. Orientation, depending how you want the map to show up. And then if there's automatic zoom or not. And then you can do the same thing here. You can do this. Now, what's cool about this view button is if you press this view button, you also get that navigation that comes up that I showed you. Now, another car has this as well. Most of the Audis are in the range, but R8 has this. So if you want to feel like you're driving an R8, you just do this, and all you have to do is just rev your engine. But no, it's not going to sound like that. No. All right, but anyway, this is so these are the menus here, and then also you could have that globe sort of view as well. Moving on to the center screen, we have mostly the same options, but you have also vehicle here. So you have comfort, and that just has the car in comfort. You have auto, which adjusts, you know, suspension, engine, and revs and exhaust depending on your throttle input. Really, dynamic, which is everything's really aggressive, and individual, which you could adjust yourself here, and you could put a dynamic, and you can see the way I drive is everything in dynamic, but just the suspension's in comfort. And if you press left here, I'm just using the dial, pressing right or left or right. If you press the dial here, you go to the drive select. You also have the vehicle settings. You have date, time, the steering wheel buttons there, the seats. So there, here you could press the driver's seat, and then you'll have easy entry. And this function is once you unlock the car when you're on the outside and you want to get in the car, it'll move the seat back. And then it's stored on the memory key. So if you have that key and you go up there, it'll move the seat back so it's easier for you to enter the car. Steering wheel, we went date and time is fine. The exterior lighting is the exterior, and you have automatic headlights. The entry exit you can change. You have the interior lighting, which you can make brighter or off. Now there's another package you can get where you have different interior colors. This only has the white, and then also when you lock it has like a red on the outside. There's a central locking. Which you could pick whatever you want to. You want to fold the mirrors, you want to disable the rear handle, long press to open windows, fold mirrors, a lot of garage openers there as well. This menu will also come up when you use the home link button here, and you could program everything there as well. Driver assistance, again, this is so here we go. So I have the speed warning, so you can set the speed warning. I have it off, but you can set it up to 150 miles an hour. There's the parking aid, which when you're parking, you can tell what the volume is, and there's it'll fade the entertainment if you're parking. So this sets how aggressive the fade is and the volume when you're parking. Efficiency assist. Audi pre-sense, so when it says something in the front and the back, and that's just the aggressive, let me see, pre-warning, yes, so the aggressiveness of the signal. Side assist as well, so if you're opening the door, this would just be these right here, so this is just if someone's on your blind spot, it'll illuminate. So we're going to set that there. Rain sensor, so depending how aggressive the rain is, it'll adjust the wipers accordingly. Air conditioning, auto recirculation, so that was this that I was talking about, which it just recirculates there in the cabin. And then any service and checks are here as well, so you could do tire pressure. Yeah, you could store the pressures here, which I guess Audi does that themselves. You could just check the oil level. Service intervals, and when the next oil changes or next inspection is. Vehicle information. Change wiper position, so if I press it, it'll go to the wiper change position. So if I press that, there they go. I could change it, press it again, and they go back down. Kind of cool. The owner's manual. And that's that for the vehicle. You have sound as well, so you can adjust entertainment, the telephone, the navigation. So let me go here. The treble, bass, subwoofer, balance fader, sound effects, So depending if you're in, you want to focus or you want to make it a 3D effect on the sound, you have it there. Speed and the bend and volume control, so the faster you go, because there's more road noise, you can have a louder louder volume, will just turn on because the car knows you're going faster. You have a telephone setting, so you could adjust everything here of what the ringtone is, microphone level input when someone calls you. That's all here. Navigation, so voice guidance during phone call. Voice guidance volume, which I have to minimum, but it still turns on sometimes. Turn that off. Device reminder signal, so if I leave my phone inside the car, it'll tell me that I've left not to forget to take the phone out of the car before I leave. Speech dialogue system, so here you could train the speech, kind of the assistant, the person, not the person, but the program which learns from your voice. So if you want to teach it in a way, you can kind of have a short dialogue and you'll communicate with it just so it learns your voice a little better when you're communicating with it. There's also a parking aid, so how annoying you want the sensors to be. It's just annoying, more annoying, also, but slightly less annoying. It's just all annoying. Important, okay, important, but annoying. And on my touch volume as well. And then, there we go. And that's what we have for that menu. Radio, so radio, pretty standard stuff. You have the radio there, and you have all your presets, and then XM alerts, FM, AM, and then just the radios here, and then you can just press right. And you have sound settings, and that it just goes through the same sort of menu that we just went through. Media, so you have media, you have Bluetooth connected, or you have the USB here, or the aux connected, it will show up here. Telephone, so connect to multiple device, but you have a bunch of options there, so you can have connection manager. Oh, yeah, you can go through the different settings here. Wi-Fi, telephone settings for your phone. Navigation, you can say where you want to go, enter destination, switch to map, enter address, your favorites, directory, points of interest, your contacts, coordinates. You can do an online search. This car did come with, I believe it was 6 months of a program where you use Google Earth, and it gave you the weather updates, gave you the news, and it would read the news to you, but it was all sent through the Audi system. Yeah, right criteria, voice guidance, navigation settings, so pretty much standard navigation information. You have the map, so it tells you the elevation where you are, as well as what the zoom is. So we're at 100 feet, and this would be 300 feet. And then we have the map, the destination input, and traffic messages that may come up, as well as the same menu that I had before. And if there's any parking nearby, so it's like parking spots. When you're low on fuel, it'll actually select, it'll give you a prompt saying, do you want to find the nearest gas station? And you click yes or no. Before I forget, actually, let me talk about the mirror here. So it's nice because it's like a frameless mirror, and you could adjust it. It's really, really cool. As if there's no frame on it, it's glass itself. And then you also have the north, south, east, west, and also it's northwest, southwest, and every variation in between. And then it has actually, I have it on, but if you press this button here, it has an auto dim feature. So the mirror here, as well as the two side mirrors, will auto dim. If you have someone with really bright lights behind you, it will dim that, so it's not as bright to the eyes while you're driving. You also have Audi Connect, so this is only situation driver permits. Yeah, so that's great. So this is the kind of what I was mentioning before. You have the user management. This is where it sends you the weather, price, the fuel prices, parking information, news, city events, travel information, flight information. You can do Google Earth. There's a software update. You can go to Twitter, Car Finder. There's a bunch of information on this, which you only get 6 months of it. And you have to keep paying for it. I think since everyone has their phones now, I mean, it's nice. It just depends how convenient you want to be, really, or how bored you are and you want extra information. Was it useful? Yes. Would I buy it? No, I didn't renew it. So it came 6 months with the car, but after I was going to renew it, it's just I didn't see really a need for it, to be honest. At least for I was just commuting back and forth. It wasn't really anything I needed this for. Or flight information, I didn't really travel that much, or city events I could just look up on my phone. So no need there. Smart interface. This is just to connect to your phone. And then settings, which you go through language, date and time, measurement units, as you can switch to metric or imperial. Display the brightness, connection manager. Let's see what tooltips are. Okay, this is all speech dialogue system. This is actually where you can train what I was mentioning before. You can train the assistant, and you can revert back to factory settings, system maintenance. So this is all about the MMI system, and that's all really your menu right there. Now, regarding the drive select modes, I'll actually cover this in the driving portion review, so part 3, and dive more into that. So then we have this nice soft headliner here. It does make it seem really nice. You have your handle, seat belts, which you can adjust, airbag. And that's the view out the back. So moving on to the rear of the car, we have the same type of leather, the same suede material on the same soft leather here. We have a speaker, same creaking chrome trim piece, metal, hockey stick carbon fiber. You have some storage here, Bang & Olufsen, and then also your window up and down. On the passenger side, we don't have a side, so we just have the body. Okay, so what do we get in the rear of this car? I think it's good enough. I'm 6 foot, so you have these cutouts here as well. Someone about 5'6", 5'7" sits in front. This is kind of what the room is, so it's good enough room. It's a mid-size sedan, so you're gonna have not as much room, let's say an A6 or an A7, or S6, S7 should I say, but it's still good enough. You could definitely haul 4 adults, although a 5th adult might not work out that well. You have nice seat backs. You have nets here, which you can store materials. You have the AC control here for the 3rd zone, the rear zone, 12 volt. The nice quilted pattern as well. You have the hooks here for your child seat if you want to put in your child seat. You also have the fold down here, which is a nice little rest if you want. You press this button here and then just flip those up, and you have cup holders. Just to get more of a closer look, so here's your nets that you can have, your seat back, the same diamond stitch pattern. You do have adjustable headrests here, so if you want to fight with the passengers up front, you can adjust your headrests back here, and actually the middle passenger can as well. So I don't know what's up with that, but you do get really attractive seats in the front, so I think it's forgivable. But you can also see these are kind of molded to the shoulders here, so it is a really nice place to sit as well. Just to show you here, the pass-through, and you just flip these up. Really cool the way they flip up, and you have cup holders. And again, you have the hooks here for the child seat. Controls, so temperature down, temperature up, 12 volt, and AC turn off or on. The other thing that you have is you do have your handles here with the hook. The other thing is you do have hooks here and here on this side as well. And then child seat tethers, or there's 3 of them, one there, and then also the last one's there. And then speakers on the back. But you can sit here. My head is not touching the top, and yeah, good place to sit. Additionally, in the rear, you also have these reading lamps, which you just press on and off. Okay, now onto the trunk, which you could open with your hand like this, open up, or usually this works. So 50% of the time, I guess, when you put your foot underneath here, you're supposed to have the easy access if you're carrying something to open the trunk. But for some reason, it's not working. Room for the trunk here, how much space you get. So you do have the center pass here if you want to do put skis. I have it locked right now, but you can unlock it and fold it down. You can actually fold all the seats down, and you know, put more, have more room for storage if you don't have any rear passengers. You have a cargo net here for storage. or paper towels, a bunch of paper towels, storage here, and then if you unlock this, you have more room. Yeah, more room as well. And then underneath here you have the spare tire. You have these hooks here. Audi sells this cargo net that you can attach a cargo net here and then hold stuff. Now, if you are changing your tire, you just fold this part back, and here you have your jack. That's what you use to jack it up, and you have your tools here, and all the materials are here included. Sitting on the passenger side, carbon fiber trim continues on. We have the Quattro symbol here, looks really nice, and we have the glove compartment, which you can lock here, but if you unlock it and fold down, you have this nice material. It's almost like a felt type of material you have in a jewelry box. It's not this sort of suede Alcantara material, so it's kind of like that jewelry box material. If I get all this stuff out, it's small. It is. This is something that's included. You have these caps on the lug nuts, which you use if you want to take, let's say you have to take off the wheel and put your spare on after a flat tire. You insert this in, take it out, and you take off the caps that way. So put that here, and here's a holder what looks like business cards right here. Just kind of insert them in there. What you have back here, which is pretty cool, is if you want to cool, this is a cooled glove box, you could turn on the cooling. So right now the hole is closed. However, if you want to cool something in the glove box, let's say you have drinks, now there's a hole there and the AC will blow in here and keep your items cool. You have CD player, an SD slot, a SIM card slot, and a second SD slot. I don't have anything in there. You also have a valet button, so if you press the valet button and close the glove box, and then you can lock the items inside here, and then also the car's in valet mode. So the idea is that they can't go too excessive with the vehicle then. And that's it for the interior in-depth review of the 2018 Audi B9 S4. In the third part, we'll be reviewing how the car drives, what it's like when you do a pull, what's the launch control like, what's the handling like, what does it feel like to drive, and is it fun? Then also, what is it like to live with, and how does it compare with its competitors? As well as some 0 to 60 and quarter mile data. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you on the next one.